guys, welcome to today's wild mapping video, in which we'll see a scenario which the east and west of Europe go to war. By geographically, not politically, because if we did west-east politically, that would just make Russia lose. That's why we're doing it geographically. Which, I included full countries for Eastern Europe because, well, they have the disadvantage to Germany, France, Italy, Spain, the United Kingdom, Sweden, Norway. That's why I did that. So they'll be all of Turkey. And this is a map I had ready for when we start. And yeah, I decided I'd do the aggressor be the red team. And I'll give them the upper hand, which will start with the first person to make a move on the East Europe team is, well, Serbia. Starts an offensive into Kosovo. Which I guess you all probably expected it. Why did I put Serbia on Eastern Europe? Because some places said it was Western. Because, well, it's geographically and not really politically. But I mean, Serbia can be both. Czechia, Poland, and then look, see, the border of Eastern Europe is weird. Maybe Sweden is, but it makes difficult because usually you have Central Europe and other places. With Turkey starting its offensive. Well, you can't really see naval fighting yet. With Finland, along with some Russian troops launching an offensive here and around this area to secure this area. With Russia and Finland launching offensives here. And yeah, who knew Russia and Finland could work together besides in the Lapland War? First you hate the Soviets, then you hate them even more, and then, well, that happens. With Czechia and Poland moving into Germany. As Ukrainian and Belarusian forces start moving to this front line. Hungary starts its offensive here and here. And why are they doing all the advancing first? Because that's fair. With Serbia saying, yeah, Yugoslavia mode. With Bulgaria's offensive in the North Macedonia, along with Serbia's going well, with Albania in trouble, Greece is losing significant land, but now two fronts between Greenland, Iceland, and Norway. Or between Greenland, Iceland, the United Kingdom, and Norway. There's probably a blockade. So let's fill in this blockade as Denmark moves towards Greenland. And Greenland doesn't go against it. And that's just my washer you hear in the background, guys. Sorry about that. With Turkey starting its first naval advance towards Greece. Which they don't do it fast, but mostly right here. With us breaking their first defenses against Athens completely. And secures Istanbul. But this is also concerning Bulgaria's navy, Romania's and Ukraine's likely, and Russia's for sure. And Georgia's. But I don't think Eastern Europe has the strength. But with Latvian, Lithuanian, Belarusian, and Ukrainian forces going to these two front lines, with the Balkan forces mostly headed to these two, down here in the Balkans! How could I not say Balkans, guys? Just explain that. I've been saying it a million times. With them moving down the coast towards Athens. With Greek forces in Albania withdrawing, allowing Albania to finally fall, which is not good. But with them entering more of Finland's water. GIUK, what? But then we have a problem. The naval blockade is definitely starving resources out of, but we forgot about one thing, the port of Vladivostok. Yeah, that port's probably making a killing off money from this war. I'm just saying. But I bet everyone's economy is probably hurting. With the next front push into Germany. And into Austria as Vienna falls. Austria is quick to almost capitulate. But Germany manages to get forces. And they manage to set up a nice defensive along the Alps. But they're fighting in Bosnia as Sarajevo falls. They are getting kicked back. And well, along with Hungary and Serbia, there's no real chance. But Italy and France had troops ready for an offensive in the weak spot, which allows them to get behind the front line and do this. With the establishment of Russia's navy starts more things crazy. They go into East Germany. And well, this allows naval dominance again to the Adriatic Sea. Although grand defenses have so far been able to keep Italy out, now they're having naval. But Finland had a big siege, and well, I was just gone that. But you know what's about to fall? That's pretty interesting. That'll be pretty cool. So Dresden is encircled and taken, and Putin's back there spying again. What? That's weird. With the rest of Greece falling, but they refuse to surrender, even though there's only one dot left on this map of their fighters. So basically, they died. But that's sad. But with Italy getting a grip and starting to get forces through towards Eastern Europe, Germany sends them a few of their forces. Why? And France, Spain, and Portugal, and Britain start sending their forces here. Iceland sends no assets because, well, what are they? Just a rock without a navy. With Hungary being forced to withdraw troops from the front line it and Serbia has been holding, which causes a bit of a fallback of this front. As Budapest is threatened. But Russia sends 2 million troops, and all they manage to do is this. God, how many troops would it take to do it like Russian tactic? With Italy eventually managing to hold a foothold here, which causes German forces to break through here, because this area was badly defended by Czechia's border, which really undermines these advances by Czechia and neighbors. And Visegrad is forced to withdraw forces in Eastern Europe, except Russian forces stay here in this area, along with Slovakian and Czechian forces, but Prague is long gone. This is all that remains of Czechia. With somebody having problems, cough cough, Italy, which really makes the Western team upset. Very upset. Why does it make them so upset? Because look at Italy. Turkey gets a foothold in it. And Italy's debating whether it should become Eastern Europe. With them really being with countries like France, Germany, Spain, and Britain infuriated by this failure. And it really makes people angry that this happened. And Italy is in a lot of trouble. But Germany sends forces in, and France, despite being infuriated by this, with this landing made in Sweden by Russia, getting close to Stockholm. Finland isn't going to fall. They're probably just going to switch sides, honestly. I mean, why wouldn't they? They're Finland. With Finland getting pushed back by Sweden. But what do? Well, they're in a tight spot as this happens. Russia's infuriated, and now they're the angriest country of all. What are they going to nuke? Well, they say they are, but you know, they don't. Now this front line collapsing. With it eventually coming to the point where all of this front line and Putin's brought back to Moscow. Yeah, as everything starts falling. And, well, the worst thing is about to happen as Denmark and Germany start creating more and more naval dominance. Doesn't mean there's no German vessels there. No. Or Swedish. No, naval dominance is who dominates. And while the push into Poland starts with Germany and Swedish forces, with German and Austrian forces then crossing up. With Budapest is long gone, Bratislava is long gone, so Hungary is in a bad spot. As Ukraine is then invaded. But they counterattack. But nobody wants an Eastern Ukraine. Why does nobody want? With Italy starting to get pushed towards Rome. Germany then sends 15,000 troops, and those 15,000 troops manage to get back to here. And Italy's navy is ready after Italy has built up its navy, and France sends naval assets as they push towards Albania. And this area of navy dies, basically, or disappears. One or the other. And, well, at least they're holding some front lines. But unfortunately for the red team, well, Albania gets landed in, and nobody's ready for this. Serbia trying to hold north and south now, which leads to two fronts falling for them. And, well, unfortunately, there's going to be no Yugoslavia. But there was at one point, I mean. With Bulgaria getting pushed back to its border. And even getting pushed into. They managed to take Sofia, and then they push into Romania. And they seize Budapest. Which leads to the fall of red team naval dominance in some areas. With the Italians managing to get them back to almost Turkey's border. With Greece ready for with the invasion of Greece being ready. Starts with the first operation, or the invasion of Crete. And then operation again is right up here towards Athens. With Operation No. With Operation We Want Greece Back. Well, Turkey's kind of laughed at. But you know what the problem is now? Well, this happened. And Finland accepts. With Serbia falling around the time that Romania is encircled. And Hungary is kinda in trouble. With them holding the small part of Ukraine. That's being like severely by this. Russia orders an immediate siege of Finnish territory. This aggression ripples across Europe as Ukraine does one last thing. Did I tell you? Oh my god, Ukraine just does an overthrow. Why was Ukraine overthrown? Russia's infuriated. As they start a siege of Ukraine, which they quickly shove into Crimea and up from Crimea. And then the Donbass region leaves Ukraine. And this fighting continues. But this is all that happens. Unfortunately, Russia's way too late to stop any of this. So unfortunately, Russia's fronts on all fronts start to collapse. Well, Russia's really infuriated as Ukraine pushes into Belarus. Quick, even managing to take Minsk. With Belarus falling as they enter into Latvia. Oh, I forgot to say, Finland wasn't the only northern traitor. Estonia saw Finland and said, yep, we switch sides too. Basically. And this is what happens as the last fighting ends, as the capturing of Warsaw happens. And Russian forces are basically pushed back, even taking all of Kaliningrad. Now Russia's nervous because all of these forces are stuck. And one major thing happens. Well, the Russian fleet, the Baltic Sea Fleet, is killed. And then, well, luckily for Turkey, they're destroyed. And with nations just leaving, as there's no point in fighting, because even if it does turn right, it doesn't matter. At this point, well, Russia's completely embarrassed as winter comes, and they're like, yeah, we'll have an easy, chill ride in the winter. But they forgot Finland always wins in winter. And we forgot another thing. Ukraine always wins in winter. Yep, I guess Russia isn't in a good spot after all. With all Russian and Turkish land takes being kicked back, as forces head towards Istanbul under the lead of Greece, they create a new Bulgarian government, which helps them push in. As Ukraine manages to send some forces near Ankara, they go down and take Ankara, with the first attempt into Belgorod going to success as the spring comes. With Chechnya taking opportunity. Well, there's many Russian republics within Russia. I think it's 20 countries in Russia. 20 constitutional countries. Hey, it's Putin's dream come true. Chechnya's back. No, I'm kidding. That's funny. I just thought it was supposed to be a joke. And well, with Chechnya leaves Dagestan. But then countries such as North Ossetia, and I think other ones, like one over here. No, there's none over there. But actually, I think there's a few, like, down here. And if I'm wrong, well, maybe not full nations join. But these three countries forming an anti-Russian Caucasian republic, which dreams to unite the Caucasus. Wonder if there's so many... What joins Ukraine's side, basically. And they say, along with Ukraine, let's take out Russia. And this happens as Turkey and Cyprus fall. And Russian morale is at an all-time low. Even lower than it was in guess what year? Even lower than it was during World War I. Even lower than it is today. So low that all the troops just desert and basically go home. And well, Russia is forced to agree to the Treaty of Berlin. And everybody meets at the Berlin Conference, including France, Berlin Conference of Shaping Europe. And countries that switch sides are granted territories. But the new government that was installed in Bulgaria loses land, but gains some land, along with Poland's government. Lithuania had one put in, Latvia. A few countries had new governments put in during the war. Let's see what the treaty